Hi, everyone. Welcome into our Insecure Season 5, Episode 9 recap and review. So, while we wait for Samaria to join, I want you all to jump down in the comments and let us know if you think that Lawrence was wrong for the way that he approached Issa at the party and if he should have even done it at all. So let us know if you think he was wrong that he approached her at the party. Welcome. Hey, y'all. Welcome in. All right. Hey, girl. You good?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Hey. Oh, you kind of broke up a little bit. Say that one more time.
I said I was just pulling up my notes.
Oh, okay. Oh, man. Second to the last episode.
I know. Okay. Was it just me or did they not give us anything with the preview? Like, I have no idea what's happening next week. I don't even have
No. Yeah, I actually watched it this time, and no, I
Yeah.
have no clue. The one time I actually watch it, it's not much.
You'll find out when we put up the episode next week. How about that?
Listen.
Okay. So I figured we could probably go like scene by scene.
Mm.
I don't know if there's much to say about the first scene. It was Issa and Nathan shopping for apartments.
Other than that realtor agent, he tried it.
I was like, do you want to get me down? Like, why did you do that?
You look so happy.
Right, I just wanted y'all to be happy for 5 more minutes. Like, excuse me? You had us over here, like, planning out our future.
A mess.
So nothing much happened there. But then the next scene was Molly, Taurean, and the people at the office. So,
Homegirls.
yeah, and the homegirls. I thought that was really awkward, which Molly doesn't have a whole lot of awkward scenes.
I don't know. As of this season, I feel like she has, especially this episode.
Yeah.
Like, okay, girl, we're giving out full-on hugs like this at the office. And you know she was feeling awkward when she tried to get everybody to join in. Like, look, we're at work here. Give me 6 feet.
Right. She said, y'all not gonna hug this man? Get in this hug. Like, nah, you're a little too late. We already see what's going on here. They were so obvious. And then them walking different ways. Like, geez. I thought they would at least like be a little bit smoother around the office.
Okay.
I will say Molly got her a partner, and I think that's wonderful. Like, this is everything she wanted in a man.
Okay. Yeah. I will say though that I guess like him being partner, and she kind of talks about it later on, like if it doesn't work out, how she's afraid of that, but I think they're in a good place. So
Yeah, they'll be all right. I don't expect any nonsense to like come from there. But all right, and then the next thing was Chad and Lawrence at the house. So I've actually had a heated, it wasn't heated, but
ooh, tell me more.
right. So my friend was saying that, well, she's teammate Nathan, by the way, but she was saying that
Oh yeah, make sure you go watch it because we're gonna give all the spoilers.
I know, but you can watch our review later on our YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for coming. But yeah, so my friend who is Team Nathan, she feels like Lawrence's flaw is that he never makes any moves on his own. She feels like Chad is the one who always has to put a battery in him to get him going. So that just had me thinking like this next scene is where Lawrence and Chad are having the discussion, and Lawrence like, yeah, I'm not really thinking about going to that I keep wanting to say baby shower, but it's the going away party this time. And Chad's like, you let her go, like she let you go, and you didn't fight for her. So, like, what do you want me to do? How do you feel about that, though? Like, do you think Lawrence needs Chad to always put the battery in his back? Is he kind of just always complacent until somebody says something?
Yeah, so I haven't gotten that vibe. I guess I've taken it more as just a different perspective. He's on the outside looking in, and there is some truth to what he said. Like your response when she said, "Hey, I don't want to do this," was just okay. Like you didn't try to convince her anything. So I don't know. I guess I just didn't take it as like, oh, this isn't what he wants to do, but now he's going to go do it because Chad says something like Lawrence's character doesn't seem like the type where even if someone tells him an idea that he's going to do it, even if he doesn't want to.
Yeah, so her thing wasn't that he didn't want to, it was that he never makes moves on his own. Even if he wants to, he's just gonna sit there and, like Chad said, let life happen to him instead of like taking. And I guess I can see that, but on the other side, it's like he said, what am I supposed to do? Force her to be with me? He knew it was a messed up situation.
And part of him, I think, was looking out for her in that, hey, I'm not going to make this harder than it needs to be. Mm-hmm. It's already jacked up. And let's not forget, like, he's still trying to process this whole thing too. So like, how are you going to go convince someone to come along for the ride in a situation where you don't even know what it's going to be? Like, I don't know many people who would do that.
Yeah, exactly. And he called her back. She didn't call him. So like, well, what exactly was he supposed to do? But yeah, my friend is very adamant about that. She's like, he never makes any moves. Like last time he didn't talk to Condola until Chad went and hyped him up. And so now, like, that's when he wants to make the move. So she says it's a pattern that we've seen with him.
I mean, okay, so I'll give her maybe the other times, but in this situation, I don't think he knew what it was going to be, and it was messy all the way around. So not only was it going to suck that like y'all finally got to a good place and now this bombshell happened, but then now you're going to try to convince this girl to come along and like wear her down, like, and she was strong enough to remove herself.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't think anything of it, but I guess Team Nathan might have other thoughts on that. But yeah, we went back and forth. It was a good 30 minutes of that, like, voice notes back and forth. And I'm like, Nathan is not that great of a choice either, but we'll talk about him in a little bit. Anyway, we get to the going away party. And I was going to ask you how you felt about the new men fitting into the group dynamic. Like, how you feel about Nathan and Taurean fitting in with everyone?
First off, this is the most elaborate going away party I think I've seen. I mean, I accidentally crashed one that was at a bar, but it was like in a public place where like all the friends are meeting up there and they like rented out the ground floor. The people let us in, didn't realize we didn't know the people, but this was, I get why you were saying it was like a baby shower because that's what it felt like. But as far as the like meshing in, I mean, obviously there's conflict there with Nathan because the whole Issa thing. Also, he's a transplant, so, you know, he's not really from LA, so that, I think, dynamic is a little bit different. Now, as far as Taurean, I like his character. He's, like, quirky. Like, yeah, he's a lawyer, but he seems to be down to have a good time. So I could appreciate somewhat that balance in the character, but yeah, he seemed to mesh pretty well, even though he kind of read the room wrong in terms of like the type of event that this was.
Yeah, I feel like I think he'll mesh well, but out of the two, he was definitely more awkward. Like, and it shouldn't have been that way. So, like, when they asked, oh, you brought us a gift, he's like, oh no, this is trash. Like, what?
I kept wondering why they cut to the little girl. I'm like, why is he looking at the little girl? What does the little girl have to do with what's in your hand? And then, so awkward. Like, even if you did bring edibles, why are they in your hand like a gift box? I don't bring stuff like that to parties, but if I did, I'd put it in my pocket, my purse, kind of get there, gauge the situation.
He said, I'm putting it in the trash. I said, the trash is right here.
Like, why are you walking up like it's a gift box? Yeah, that was definitely awkward. But then later on, when they were just like sitting around, he was, you know, kind of helped break the ice. And then later on, he really came through. You know, we won't get to that part, but I thought
it was awkward when they sat down too, because that was after the edible started kicking in. So
I mean, he was, but like, it wasn't anything too crazy. Like, he was awkward definitely with the whole barbecue thing, but it wasn't anything like too crazy. And I guess because I knew he was on edibles, I'm like, oh yeah, he out his mind.
Leslie said that was awkward. I felt it too, Leslie. I'm like, it was just so weird. Like, why are you talking about Postmates or Uber Eats? What are we talking about? Like, ooh, y'all want me to get some barbecue for real? Sir, do you not see what is happening here? And then
not only that, but you're at a whole party. So like the host is right there and you're offering to order food when they done probably spent thousands of dollars on
all these people walking around with food trays and you talking about, y'all want me to get some barbecue? I upgraded last week. It's going to get here in 20 minutes. No, we do not. But I guess speaking about the barbecue conversation, we might as well dive right into it. I literally wanted to just hop out of my skin. Like, I think I had to pause the episode. It was just so tense and awkward and weird. I literally felt like I was in that situation. But what did you think? Do you think Lawrence came a little too hard? Who do you feel like pushed it a little bit too far first?
Yeah, okay, so I'll say I think Lawrence. I had to rewatch it. Yeah, so Lawrence, I definitely think he, it was kind of like they were looking at each other, but he was the first one to say the most direct thing that was indirect shade. So, yeah, he knew what he was doing and he didn't have to do that. And then it was kind of like Nathan was like, "Oh, so we going there? So bet. I'm ready. I'm in." So, I mean, well, first off, if I were either one of them and I kind of saw the group standing around, like I really wouldn't have been over there anyways. I get all the guys were kind of like off together, but like if I were Nathan or Lawrence, I would have politely been like, "Oh, I'm gonna go eat or grab me a drink." And after a while, they might disperse. I don't know. But then again, Nathan may not have been thinking that Lawrence would take it there.
I don't know, because Nathan, like, so to your point, I think these are Lawrence's friends. So why would he, like, I'm not about to be uncomfortable just because you, like, if I would have been with my friends, I'm still be with my friends. But I agree, Leslie, Lawrence was being petty. I think Dro made the first comment where he was like, if you a transplant, just say that. But there's not that history with Dro.
Oh, yeah. And it was lighthearted. Like, it was about barbecue. Now, I will say, as a person who lived in Texas for a long time, come on, like, stop acting like y'all don't know Texas is known for barbecue. Like, it's like the barbecue capital of the state. So when they were trying, like, I'm sorry, y'all, LA people don't have a leg to stand on. I'm not even from Houston, but I lived in Texas long enough to know that, like, Texas is barbecue Mecca. Come on now.
Yeah, but I mean, just because it's what they're known for, that doesn't mean there might not be some competing. I don't know. I've never had LA barbecue. I've only had Texas barbecue once, and it was okay.
Yeah.
Place that I went.
What I would say is more so like it's a lighthearted thing. So like Lawrence, why are you using this barbecue conversation to throw shade? It's barbecue.
I had to watch it back because I'm like, when did it go there? And I think it was when he said something like, well, the barbecue must not be good enough to keep them there. And then Nathan said something, I don't know, but it just got really tense. And then Issa's brother, do you think he was trying to like pour fuel on the fire, or was he trying to de-escalate when he was talking about, oh, my new man, Rolando, which is not your man. You literally met this man 5 minutes ago. But he was like, he thinks I'll look like I'll look really good with whatever haircut. What you doing tomorrow? And he said, oh, I'm going to look at apartments with Issa.
Yeah, so I don't think Issa's brother could have anticipated that response because he is a barber. So
yeah,
I don't think he really was trying to be shady or anything because I don't think the brother would have anticipated that he would have thrown it out there. And for what? Like y'all haven't moved in yet. So Nathan, you know what you're doing. And then by you responding that way, you're like you're letting it be known like where you stand in Issa's life without having to tell him directly. Like, bro, whatever you're thinking you're gonna try with Issa, it's not about to happen.
Listen, everybody was trying to like stand their ground, and I don't know. It was
Mm.
a very weird situation. Um, okay, so I think the next thing was their conversation in the kitchen with the girls, like with the ladies, where Molly was
Okay.
out of it completely. When she was like, "You'll never know who will be taller or smaller." What were you gonna
Did
say?
did he go to the car yet?
Not yet. So I
Okay.
Issa and Condola had their conversation
Okay.
before they,
Okay.
yeah. But
All
we're
right.
definitely gonna get to that because I have feelings.
Okay.
But I was just gonna ask what you thought about Issa and Condola's little conversation that they had
Yeah, of course it was going to be awkward.
because they
I
both
mean,
are.
yeah, they're both awkward. The whole situation is a mess. The baby's right there. So I'm glad that we kind of finally got to see this come to a head in a
Mm-hmm.
like not super dramatic way between the both of them because I feel like the way it was handled was the most realistic. Like Issa's moved on, Condola's moved on, the baby's here. It was never going to be like a drag out, arguing back and forth type of thing. And I'm glad that they kind of got it out of the way. Like Condola said, like she doesn't enjoy like these super awkward moments.
Yeah.
And they never really had like a breakdown of their friendship. Like they were cool. And then this thing kind of happened. So,
Hmm.
yeah. It,
Well, Condola did ghost Issa, so but I will say I'm glad that it didn't get messy with them. I don't think Issa had to stay behind to talk to Condola. Like I feel like she could have gone over there with her friends and that would have been
Yeah. Well, I was kind of wondering why they left in the first place.
because Molly was bugging.
True, but if I were in that situation, Samaria, I'm gonna need you to stand right there. Don't leave me.
I mean, but yeah, I don't think Issa had to talk to her at all. And I'm glad that they were able to squash whatever beef they had. But I will say I'm happy that Condola heard about Issa's art walk. I was like, yes, girl, she was trying to
Mm.
stand you up at your first event, and now she's hearing your name out in these streets. So I was really proud of Issa in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then that's when Issa went out, and I will let you say how you felt.
Wait. We
What?
cannot skip Kelly slapping Molly.
She needed something.
Listen. That was so funny. And what I did enjoy from that scene too was like all them committing to still seeing each other. I love that element of their friendship and them just like really being all in, like, hey, distance isn't going to come in between us. We're
Yeah.
going to be committed to this. And I like how Tiffany is already thinking ahead, like, how can I get back here with my girls,
Mm.
to not miss all the big moments. So.
Yeah, because she was struggling to find good things to say about Denver in that speech.
And that's a very relatable situation because when you're married, if your spouse has a new opportunity and it uproots you, unless you're in the military and you're just used to moving around like that, but that's very relatable. A lot of people go through that where it may not necessarily always be in your control or hands, if the other person has an opportunity that they need to take. And so, yeah, she's just going with the flow, and I guess she'll see when she gets there. She likes
Yeah.
her Denver omelets.
Right, in the city parks or whatever it was she was
Mm.
out. But yeah, so now we get to Issa and Nathan. How did you feel about this scene?
Oh, the one where they're at the chocolate.
Chocolate fountain.
So, once again, this is where I feel like Nathan should have just said something.
Yes.
Like, okay, if you're feeling away, something's happened, don't just like go cold shoulder on her. Like, she didn't do anything to you.
At all.
Come on now. Like, yeah, that was unnecessary. And to me, that kind of led to, because maybe if he would have said something, she
Mm-hmm.
would have been like, okay, there's a potential issue here.
Yeah.
Maybe we leave early. Maybe we kind of, stick to ourselves. Or what, so she would just know outright and not be trying to guess like, hey, does this have anything to do with me?
Right. Leslie, you're right. He was definitely having a moment because she didn't know anything about what happened with the barbecue conversation at all. And I brought this up in my debate conversation, whatever, with my friend today. I'm like, I feel like Nathan does that enough or has done that enough this season to where it's a problem. Whereas the problem that she was stating that Lawrence had, I'm like, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, we all sometimes need our friends to say what we couldn't see, you know? He was trying to respect her space, and Chad's like, no, you can push for it, like you can do more. And so I don't necessarily think that's a problem, or if it is a problem, I'd rather have that than something's going on with you. It's obvious. You don't know how to control your emotions until we get to a quiet space. And then in addition to not knowing how to control it, you don't want to talk about it so that I know what's going on either. And I think that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
So.
And I will say though, he could have been, to give him the benefit of the doubt, like, because it's her friends, her party, he's the guest. He could have been thinking, okay, I'm feeling a mood. Let me just go ahead and get to the car to do what he needs to do. But I don't want to like rain on her day at her friend's going away party. So let me just try to process this on my own. Now I know it's a stretch, but I'm trying.
It is, to me. My mind can be changed, but it is a stretch to me just because it seemed like he got the text about his friend being there after she approached. And so it was like he cut her off and was like, oh, he's here. Let me go to the car. It's like,
yeah.
Displacing that anger. Also, how long did it take him to talk to his friend? Because when he went out there, it was light outside. And when he came back to the scene, like the big scene, so it was dark. So I'm like, you were gone for a while, possibly, before.
Yeah, and where you went off to get some terrible advice.
He said we could give them another type of fade. Like, sir, okay, we get it. You're a barber. Like, okay.
Look, this is not the time to be all rah-rah. Calm down. Look at the neighborhood you're in.
Okay, so before we get to that big scene, Dro and Molly have a conversation. So we knew Dro was probably going to show up this episode, but turns out he was calling not to check on her mom, but to tell her about the divorce.
Shocker there.
You know, it seemed like they had a system going on, but who knows? I was like, that woman ain't Candace when they came up. Like, I know what Candace looked like, and that ain't her. But yeah, I like that they were able to resolve it just because they have been friends forever. But I don't think they need to be friends now. Like, you know, we cool. If we see each other, we see each other, but it's not a thing. How did you feel about her blurting out to Taurean what was going on between them?
Obviously, both of them are high. So, I don't know. I kind of liked that she was just like, hey, this is what it is. And I don't know if it was the extra courage or what he had, but he was just like, okay, like, it's whatever. And I could appreciate that. Like, he's not overly emotional about these different nuances of relationships. He's just like, hey, we're both grown. We both have a past.
Yeah.
And Dro was, obviously, he was like, this is awkward. This is weird. But I will say, too, like, I could appreciate how she kind of had the energy of like, look, we did this thing. It wasn't the best, most positive situation to be in. Yeah. And I'm going to stand in it. I'm not going to hide from it. Yes. And it is what it, look, you were a willing participant. So if it's out here in the open and people know now, it is what it is. And you're divorced anyway, so.
Right. And I did love Taurean this episode because this wasn't the only time where he just kind of like went over whatever speed bumps. She was high, but open about it. Yes. I feel like this was the perfect time to have that conversation because he and Andrew were sober last season and she had that conversation, or whatever season it was, that did not go over well. So I appreciated that he was just like, I used to sell Adderall like in my senior year, and that's just what it is.
Yeah. And I loved her facial expression. She was just like, I can't even do it. But like, listen, I love that for her. She's just like, oh, okay, like, it is cool, whatever.
Yeah, I guess we can finish with Molly and Taurean since we're on it. So like, they went and ate all the people's food.
Look, as a mac and cheese lover, I feel you on that. Look.
Those mac and cheese balls were like the supporting actress of this whole this whole episode, because when Issa took hers and bit right into it.
But
And go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, but see what you're not gonna do is go have your fun in my mama's pantry around all the food. Really? Out of that big old house? The disrespect. I can't.
It's disrespectful anywhere in the house. That's your friend mama house. Why are you? That's
It
so.
is, but it's like the food.
The Ritz crackers right there.
Come
Yeah,
on. Neither
they
one
were
of y'all are thinking clearly.
okay. So we've like waited long enough, and we only have like about 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Who was Lawrence inappropriate for approaching Issa at this event to talk about what he had to talk about?
Okay. I don't think that he was wrong for approaching her
Okay.
about it because she called him, he called her, she didn't return the call. So that piece I don't feel any type of way about. It's fine. He's finally seeing her in person. Even him, like the initial like, hey, I want to let you know how I feel. But once she expressed to him like, hey, this isn't the right place or time,
Mm-hmm.
that's where he should have left it. One of my biggest pet peeves is when people try to force your hand on something that they want to talk about, that they want to do, and it's just not the right time or place for you for insert whatever reason, but they feel like they're going to kind of browbeat you or bully you into talking about it or dealing with it right then. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, as soon as someone tells you like, hey, this isn't the right time, this isn't going to work for me, I don't want to do it, you should just like take that and be like, okay, when will be a good time? Can we set up another time? Not you try to force this, and obviously it creates a whole scene.
Okay, I agree with that in real life. In this situation, though, when is he gonna see her again? She obviously did not call him back. They're there. Like Condola said before she left, this is your last time with everybody. Make the most of it. And I think,
Oh, he did.
and what Chad said about you didn't fight for her. So I think for him, it's like, yeah, I know, but what if I didn't fight enough? So I think he was trying to do what he didn't do last time. Last time he was just like, okay. And now he's getting this feedback from his friend, like you gave up too easily. So he's like, oh no, I ain't giving up this time.
Okay, but okay, this would be the second time this season where he's had an almost incident, which this time it actually turned into a scene.
Mm-hmm.
But earlier in the season, was it Simone's first birthday where Derek had to pull him to the side and be like, look, basically not at my daughter's party. And so my whole thing is, yes, you can fight whatever it is you feel like you need to do or say, but not at the party. And if someone has expressed to you like, hey, I'm good, um,
Did she express it like that though? Because I don't
well,
know.
more so like, this isn't the right place, not right now.
She was like here, and he was like, well, what if I don't? I don't know.
I
You're
mean, you have
trying.
to read
I'm
people's
trying.
body language. I mean, and I'm not saying like I agree. I do feel like he should fight for her if that's what he wants to do. Like I'm fine with that. It just wasn't the right place. And then also because Nathan was there, so that kind of like changes the whole thing for me.
Was Nathan there? Because he went to get some car keys or whatever, and didn't come. So where was he at? She going to
he
by herself?
he was on the premises. He knew that. Nah, she saw Nathan walk up and that's all.
She probably
Yeah.
did, because she was about to say something when Nathan was like, "Oh, what's going on here?" So,
Just taking out the trash.
right, la basura in Spanish. I was like, girl, the way she screamed when she saw him though, that took me out. I was like, girl, it's Lawrence. It reminded me of the last episode in her like dream sequence when he
Hmm.
showed up and she was like, ah. He said, "Oh my bad, I didn't mean to scare you," because something similar happened with this scene. I was it the right place, probably not, but he's hearing they're going to look for apartments tomorrow.
Hmm.
He probably feels like this is it. This is my last opportunity to get this like off my chest. Her man's not around. He got her out here like walking around by herself. So this is the chance. He didn't go up to her when Nathan was next to her. I think that's respect.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just she was giving the signals and she was just like here, like it was just the location for me.
Yeah.
And then I understand him now wanting to be in that energy to fight for her. But it's like, dude, your timing is terrible. Like
Okay. Yeah.
it's like you've had bad timing on a lot of things up until this point. So
I mean, technically, Lawrence hasn't done anything. Y'all, I'm almost done with the episode. Girl, isn't it crazy? But what
but
I will say though, with the whole fight situation, Lawrence was about his business. He said, "No, we were having a conversation." I'm like, bro, first of all, calm down. Her man is here now. Relax. On that bass in your voice, don't do that. But
yeah,
it
when
seemed
he okay.
I was just gonna say it seemed like Nathan was running up into his space because he was like, if you keep coming in my space like that, and then when they flash back to them, Nathan was the one being the aggressor in that whole situation.
Yeah, because I think he was already turned about what happened earlier. He didn't get a chance to really talk about it with Issa. So
Mm-hmm.
he was carrying some of that same energy. Like, if a person's being very shady to you, very direct, and then when you pull up on them and you ready, you just might be assuming, like, oh, you still coming with that same energy. So I could understand why Nathan ran up well, he didn't run up, like he kind of like asked a question
Mm-hmm.
and then it escalated. But I will say though, like once Nathan did come up,
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence should have just been like, all right, that's it. Like you had your window, it passed.
Yeah, how did you feel? I don't know. I wasn't feeling Nathan. Like Issa was trying to calm him down, and then I guess he was in the heat of the moment. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. He was in the heat of the moment, and like yelled at her and was just like, "Leave me! Like I'll be fine. Just give me a minute." I didn't like that energy, but what I really hated, because this is one of our worst fears, when it was done and everybody was just there looking. That is one of my worst fears.
Throw them both away. Start over. Listen, you got me out here looking silly. My homegirl and her man having to get involved. It's embarrassing. And then, like, it's supposed to be like a joyous occasion.
Yeah.
So, come on. Yeah.
Okay,
And
wait.
then
Who would have won the fight? Who do you think would have won the fight?
I feel like Lawrence would have had a good chance, but I don't know. I feel like Nathan, once he gets started, that's it. Like I feel like Lawrence would get tired sooner, even though he could get some good hits in. But
Yeah.
Nathan just seemed like you could be screaming at him, but he's not going to stop.
Yeah, very embarrassing. Embarrassing. But yeah, I think Lawrence, just because he got that reach, like he's longer than Nathan. But yeah, anyway, child, I have no idea what's gonna happen next episode. I,
Exactly, the
I have
ghetto.
the ghetto. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
predictions, but I feel like I'm looking forward more to this than Christmas, which is I'm like, can Christmas hurry up and go so we can get this insecure finale?
okay. But then at the same time, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be over, so it's bittersweet. I don't know. The way I'm feeling, I'm kind of team neither one of them right now. Like after that whole scene.
Yeah.
I'm just like, Nathan, you have your stuff going on. Lawrence, you got your stuff going on.
I think Issa and Nathan have the same problems. Like, I don't think like she's an avoider and he's an avoider.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lawrence's flaw flaws and Issa's flaws kind of complement each other, like they can learn from the other. But I think she and Nathan have some of the same. I also think like because of everything Lawrence has gone through, he might have he's already shown a lot of growth. Now I know that's not because we've been with Lawrence since season 1, but I just think like he's shown a lot of growth. We know he accepts feedback well. We know that he'll do what it takes to make things work, which is why he and Condola are in a good situation. And I feel like with Nathan, he's still like, there will be growing pains because he's not quite at that stage where, you know, it's going to take at least a year or so to get over that whole, oh, when I'm mad, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to just be upset. And then
And maybe that's just how he handles
right.
things. Like it may never evolve. You know, who knows? I mean, people just are who they are. I don't know. I think Nathan is still very much a wild card. I think if she went with Lawrence, she'd know the situation is what it is.
Yeah.
You're right. He has shown a lot of growth, a lot of maturing.
Yeah.
With Nathan, I think it would be fun, but he's still a wild card.
Would Lawrence leave Condola? I don't think Lawrence and Condola are together.
They're not
co-parenting, which is another reason she should go with him. Like at first I was like, yeah, girl, get out of there because it's messy. But now that it's not messy, Condola wants Lawrence to be happy. I think it could work because everybody in that situation has matured.
And I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but I don't know. You kind of left that girl hanging her whole pregnancy. That runs deep. I don't know if like you could try to give it a go, but I was thinking about it. I'm like, realistically, would she be able to put that behind her?
She wouldn't be able to put the fact that he loves Issa behind her.
That too. Yeah. That plus leaving her whole pregnancy.
All right, so we've gone on for a little bit longer than usual, but I feel like this episode called for it. Yeah, we'll be back next week. I'm tempted. If it didn't come on so late, I would have been like, we need to come on right after it ends next week, but it's so late.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see you guys next Monday to talk about the series finale of Insecure. Thank you guys for coming and chatting with us.
Thank y'all. We had a good time. We will see y'all next week.
Yes. Bye, y'all.
Bye.